Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and in this video, I wanted to do a review of last night's episode of the DC Legends of Tomorrow, which airs on the CW TV network, and it's was season 6, episode 6. And so basically, what last night showed was basically a continuance of what's been happening on the show for the past 6 episodes now, which obviously is the main story plot for this season so far. It has been to capture obviously Sarah Lance and bring her back to the ship, obviously with the rest of the team, and get her back on the team. Well, basically, obviously, the obviously not to get her back, obviously to apprehend her and bring her back, because obviously the rest of the team is still searching in space to find her, and throughout time they know she was kidnapped by aliens, and obviously we know now that Gary is an alien who's with her. Obviously the guy who's obviously the secret well, he was a secret alien, but he was the right hand of obviously Ava Sharp, who is obviously a clone. So we've been seeing that, obviously, and that's what we know now, and that she was captured by this guy named Bishop, who sings and dances all the time, and he's the bad guy, but he sings and dances all the time, so there's comedy and humor behind what he does, and he's also a clone himself, so it's pretty weird. And what we saw at the end of this episode is apparently he showed Sarah Lance that she's obviously a clone of the real Sarah Lance that's dead, he captured. Now we don't know if this is a trick or not, or if this is actually what really happened, but we'll have to wait and see what happens, obviously, throughout the rest of the show. And also Mick Rory, who is also known as Heatwave, was running around in space looking for Sarah Lance as well, with an alien who is a shapeshifter, obviously could change from human form to alien form, trying to get Sarah off the planet that they're on, and out of Bishop, who is the main villain obviously in this season so far, his way to obviously make sure that he can apprehend her. Gary met up with Sarah Lance after finally finding her. He came out through underneath the toilet, the pipes, because he's an alien. He can contort his body, obviously, to move through difficult spaces like that, like he said, like an octopus. So he was able to do that, and he obviously admitted that he's been looking for Sarah for a long time, and he obviously found her. So because of that, we've been making sure and seeing how we've obviously been able to make sure that the show's been going very well. It's been very interesting to see what's been happening. The show's been very interesting. But obviously, for the past obviously six weeks and 6 episodes, we've been seeing that obviously what they've been doing is trying to get Sarah Lance back. Obviously, so because of this, they had to interrogate and capture a couple aliens to do this, and they did this obviously, and they killed one in this episode. And we also learned that Spooner, who is obviously now on the show, she's obviously the new addition to the cast, who obviously will be taking over for Mick Rory when he leaves, obviously, because the actor that plays Mick Rory, Dominic Purcell, is going to be leaving, who's also known as Heatwave, will be leaving the show after this season. That was obviously admitted and put out in news by himself, obviously on Instagram, and also with many dozens of articles online that we have seen over the past couple of weeks. So that's obviously been the case. Spooner's psychic connection to aliens after she was kidnapped and apparently messed with, as far as I would say her brain, if they install some type of alien technology in her when she was a kid, which allows her to pick up on aliens around them and the vibes, and obviously their feelings and emotions, and she can tell, and it's kind of like a psychic connection type of ordeal, but she actually has no technology in her brain, which she felt that she actually had. So that's basically what we've been seeing. It's been very interesting to see the case and on the show, but it's been very interesting. Like I said, now next week's episode, they're going to go back in time to that specific moment when Sarah Lance was captured, which was at the last episode of season 5, which was the season finale, and they're going to try to stop that. So that's what they're going to be doing, and it's a play similar to Back to the Future. Part 2, which they will be sharing and showing on the show next week. So that's basically what's been happening. And we also saw that the Wave Rider was stolen by somebody who we don't know who actually captured it, while Mick Rory and the alien that was with him on that planet went to apprehend and get Sarah Lance back, obviously. So we don't know who took the Wave Rider in that specific timeline. But when the rest of the team caught up with the Amelia Earhart as the transformed into an alien / possessed by one, they found out that she actually rode in on the Wave Rider herself, so they have their own version of the Wave Rider back in their timeline, So we'll basically see what happens with that, but we still don't know who stole it from Mick Rory and the shape-shifting alien that was with him. So that's basically what's been happening on the show. It's been okay. Like I said, we also we've been seeing a lot of different things. We found out since the last episode that John Constantine's magic, obviously powers and abilities are not what they used to be. They're waning. He was obviously affected by basically what happened in the previous episode, so it's been kind of weighing on him about what's been happening. So because of this, he's not able to use his abilities based off of that, obviously. And because of this, obviously he's trying to make sure that he's helping the team the best way he can. But it's obviously something that's obviously been messing with him, obviously, because that's what he's been doing. And of course, that's who he is as an occultist and a magician and an exorcist. Obviously, he's an exorcist as well. It was announced in the episodes ago with Aleister Crowley being in the last episode called The Satanist Apprentice, where Azra basically was trying to get help from him, and John Constantine obviously had to step in and to let her know that he's evil, obviously. Of course, she knew that, but that he was bad news and she needed to stay away from him. He admitted that he knew that John's powers were fading and that he was trying to speak to him as far as asking for help. So it's looking like in the last couple episodes when John was helping the team out, somehow he was affected by something. I'm trying to remember what happened as to where his obviously his magical powers and abilities have been obviously losing his grip from them. I think it was probably when he tried to find Sarah Lance in space, but he couldn't do it with his psychic reading because it was too far out in space. I think that's probably what happened. I'm trying to remember, but we'll see what happens, obviously, as the show picks up. So he used Azra's help, obviously, to interrogate the alien, obviously use a spell on the alien to get inside their mind. And this is Amelia Earhart as, obviously, the shape-shifting alien, who was obviously a real person, but she was obviously infected by one, which forced her to become one because it took over her body and controlled her. So because of this, obviously, they try to get into her mind and see all the interactions that she had with Sarah Lance, because they were trying to figure out, obviously, where Sarah Lance is. So because of this, obviously, they tried to keep pushing and pushing, but the alien obviously got upset. And the shape that Amelia Earhart shape-shifted into the alien and obviously shed his skin. And we saw that taking place, and Spooner eventually interacted with the alien, obviously, and tried to reason with the alien to figure out where Sarah Lance is. The alien lied and said that she killed Sarah Lance, and then after that, Ava stepped in to help, obviously, Spooner when the alien was attacking her, to use her gun, because she dropped her gun while she was fighting the alien. Ava saved Spooner, killed the alien. That was basically the end of it. So we'll see what happens, obviously, on the rest of this season. Next week's episode, like I said, they're trying to go back into the time, specifically that moment in time, which was the last season's season finale, which was season 5, where Sarah Lance was abducted and beamed up into space by aliens. So they're going to try and go back in time months before this happened and to prevent that. But obviously we know when they go back in time, obviously, which their job is to go back in time and forward in time to stop events and to make sure that the bad guys who screw up the timeline can obviously be brought to justice, be apprehended and arrested. They obviously know that that's their job, obviously, as the Legends of Tomorrow, but they know that, and they explained it in the trailer, screwing up with time is obviously a bad thing to do, and they know that they can't do that themselves and mess with it, because it's going to create ripple effects, obviously, and just like what we saw on other CW TV network shows, such as The Flash, where they created Flashpoint, when Barry Allen went back into the future, and he changed things, obviously, and made specific unfortunate actions take place and ripples and obviously time rifts that they don't want to happen, but obviously takes place when they screw things up, obviously, when they try to save someone else or themselves, so they try to prevent something from happening or stop somebody, obviously, in both cases. But we'll see what's gonna happen, obviously, on next week's episode of Legends of Tomorrow. So it says right here, which will be next week's episode, which will be season 6, episode 6, if I'm not mistaken. No, it'll be season 6, episode 7 next week. But on here it says, on denofgeek.com, it says Legends of Tomorrow reveals the dark secret of Sarah Lance. Bishop's Gambit is a strong episode of Legends of Tomorrow, but ends with a huge twist for our heroes. That's the name of the episode, which is called Bishop's Gambit, based off of the obviously bad guy slash villain, Gambit, obviously. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, but it kind of explains what's been happening, obviously, in this episode of the show so far. So it's been very interesting. But the review they kind of gave it on here was it looks like they gave it a 4 out of 5. So they've been liking it. But we'll see what happens in the rest of the show. And also, right here on AV Club, this article says that The Legends of Tomorrow skips some good stuff en route to a shocking reveal. But it says that the show has been stumbling and it's infuriating, despite even though obviously the show's been progressing, but it's been very I guess you could say repeating the same thing over and over again. Ratings have been up and down for the show over the past couple of weeks, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, I think some people are saying that they're kind of they're kind of sick and annoyed of what's been happening with the show, and as far as the episodes so far with this current season, which is their theme. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, I guess that's based off of people saying, this the theme for the past 6 episodes of the season so far is to find Sarah Lance and reapprehend her, obviously, and bring her back to the team, because she was obviously captured and brought into space, obviously, against her will. But we'll see what happens. I'm guessing probably, because since we're going into 7 episodes now, I'm thinking probably 8 or 9 is when it's going to be over for this current storyline for the team, and they'll actually get Sarah Lance back. And then once that happens, they're going to move into the rest of the season, which is obviously them trying to stop whoever the next bad guy is. We don't know who that's going to be, and we'll see what takes place with that. It's obviously probably going to be Bishop and some type of aliens. I don't know who's going to take his place, obviously, but we'll see what happens with that. But the show's been okay, like I said, obviously, but it varies, and sometimes obviously certain characters don't have roles as far as what they obviously are able to even showcase, obviously, what they can do outside of just being one-liners or here and there. Like I said, it depends. Like I said, like up until just last week, we didn't really see anything of Azra. She had her own solo episode finally last week, so she was gone off the show for about 3 weeks now, and basically since the first episode, because she decided she was going to go do her own thing. So because of this, obviously, she's adjusting to life outside of being in hell, which she's obviously been in for basically since she was 6. So most of obviously her life, obviously, after she was trapped down there and taken down there by a demon who obviously possessed her body, but John Constantine was not able to save her at the time when she was so young. Well, that's different now, obviously, and they've gone past that. So we'll see what happens, obviously, with the rest of the show. It's like I said, it's been okay. It's been weighing, but we'll see. I don't know what's gonna happen with the rest of the season, but that's been the whole plot for the past, obviously, 6 episodes now, going on 7 for this current season. And obviously halfway through, it's going to third way through of the season, almost halfway through, and Sarah Lance has still not been back on the team. So I'm saying that I'm guessing that about 2 more episodes, and then they'll finally get her back. That's what I'm guessing, which would probably be episode 70. I'm guessing probably episode I think episode 8 or 9. They'll probably finally get her back on the team. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm just guessing. I don't know. But that's basically all I have to say about this subject matter of the DC Legends of Tomorrow. My review for the current episode, which was season 6, episode 6, which aired yesterday on June 13th. It was okay. I actually think last week's episode was a little bit better, with Azra doing her whole solo thing with Aleister Crowley, obviously her trying to find herself and figure out her ways to adjust to the normal life of being on Earth, obviously, since she hasn't been there since, obviously, like I said, 6 years old, 5 to 6 years old, because she's been in hell, obviously. Her soul is condemned and basically sent there, obviously, after she was possessed by a demon. And obviously John Constantine couldn't get her out, obviously, because he failed. He was trying to get her back to not go there. They failed to exorcise the demon that was taking over her body, possessing her. So, yeah, I think that was a way better episode. Last week's episode was better than this week's. It was okay. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I give this one probably a 6.5. Last week's episode, I give it a 7.5, close to an 8. This one is a little bit lower. Like I said, but it was okay. I think the planet that they were on, the visual effects towards the end were very good, with the planet kind of showing the atmosphere, as far as the big huge what's it called, a force field that Bishop had around the planet that he was on to keep out unwanted intruders out. Because he lowered the shields, people were able to come in, and obviously the life form on there would have less oxygen. So he was trying to do that to kill off anybody that was around there who was trying to come in and save Sarah Lance. That's basically what happened. But that's basically it for that. That's all I have to say for this video. Let me know what you have to think in the comment section if you have been watching the show. If you haven't been watching it because you are not interested in it and you're tired of the CW TV shows, or if you obviously have been, but you stopped watching them because, like I said, you're fatigued from the superhero shows. Not a lot of them are left. You haven't been very happy about what the direction of what the show's been going into, and if you're not watching it anymore because of that, let me know what you have to think about that. And that's basically it. That's all I have to say about this subject matter of the DC Legends of Tomorrow Season 6, Episode 6 that just aired yesterday on June the 13th. June 13th. It was called The Bishop's Gambit, and like I said, the continuing storyline / plot for this current season for the past 6 episodes is to get Sarah Lance back from outer space, where she was captured by the apprehended and captured against her will by aliens. And this guy whose name's Bishop, never heard of him before. He's just this new villain that came out of nowhere. And the rest of the team, which are the Legends, obviously have to get her back. That's basically it. Thank you again for watching, and that's all I have to say about this. Thank you, bye.